Section 3 of English Synonyms and Antonyms. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Morgan Scorpion. English Synonyms and Antonyms by James Champlin Fernald. Accident to address. Noun. Accident. Synonyms: adventure, calamity, casualty, chance, contingency, disaster, fortuity, hap, happening, hazard, incident, misadventure, misfortune, mishap, possibility. An accident is that which happens without any one's direct intention, a chance that which happens without any known cause. If the direct cause of a railroad accident is known, we cannot call it a chance. To the theist there is, in strictness, no chance, all things being by divine causation and control, but chance is spoken of where no special cause is manifest. By chance there came down a certain priest that way, Luke 10:31. We can speak of a game of chance, but not of a game of accident. An incident is viewed as occurring in the regular course of things, but subordinate to the main purpose, or aside from the main design. Fortune is the result of inscrutable controlling forces. Fortune and chance are nearly equivalent, but chance can be used of human effort and endeavor as fortune cannot be. We say, he has a chance of success, or there is one chance in 1,000, where we could not substitute fortune. As personified, fortune is regarded as having a fitful purpose, chance as purposeless. We speak of fickle fortune, blind chance. Fortune favors the brave. The slaughter of men is an incident of battle, unexpected defeat, the fortune of war. Since the unintended is often the undesirable, accident tends to signify some calamity or disaster, unless the contrary is expressed, as when we say a fortunate or happy accident. An adventure is that which may turn out ill, a misadventure that which does turn out ill. A slight disturbing accident is a mishap. Compare event, hazard. Antonyms: appointment, calculation, certainty, decree, fate, foreordination, intention, law, necessity, ordainment, ordinance, plan, preparation, provision, purpose. Prepositions: the accident of birth, an accident to the machinery. Acquaintance. Synonyms: association, companionship, experience, familiarity, fellowship, friendship, intimacy, knowledge. Acquaintance between persons supposes that each knows the other. We may know a public man by his writings or speeches, and by sight, but cannot claim acquaintance unless he personally knows us. There may be pleasant acquaintance with little companionship, and conversely much companionship with little acquaintance, as between busy clerks at adjoining desks. So there may be association in business without intimacy or friendship. Acquaintance admits of many degrees, from a slight or passing to a familiar or intimate acquaintance, but acquaintance unmodified commonly signifies less than familiarity or intimacy. As regards persons, familiarity is becoming restricted to the undesirable sense, as in the proverb, familiarity breeds contempt. Hence, in personal relations, the word intimacy, which refers to mutual knowledge of thought and feeling, is now uniformly preferred. Friendship includes acquaintance with some degree of intimacy, and ordinarily companionship, though in a wider sense friendship may exist between those who have never met, but know each other only by word and deed. Acquaintance does not involve friendship, for one may be well acquainted with an enemy. Fellowship involves not merely acquaintance and companionship, but sympathy as well. There may be much friendship without much fellowship, as between those whose homes or pursuits are far apart. There may be pleasant fellowship, which does not reach the fullness of friendship. Compare attachment, friendship, love. As regards studies, pursuits, etc., acquaintance is less than familiarity, which supposes minute knowledge of particulars, arising often from long experience or association. Antonyms: ignorance, ignoring, inexperience, unfamiliarity. Prepositions: acquaintance with the subject, of one person with another, between persons. Acrimony. Synonyms: acerbity, asperity, bitterness, causticity, harshness, malignity, moroseness, severity, sharpness, sourness, tartness, unkindness, virulence. Acerbity is a sharpness with a touch of bitterness, which may arise from momentary annoyance or habitual impatience. Asperity is keener and more pronounced, denoting distinct irritation or vexation. In speech, asperity is often manifested by the tone of voice rather than by the words that are spoken. Acrimony, in speech or temper, is like a corrosive acid. It springs from settled character or deeply rooted feeling of aversion or unkindness. One might speak with momentary asperity to his child, but not with acrimony, unless estrangement has begun. Malignity is the extreme of settled ill intent. Virulence is an envenomed hostility. Virulence of speech is a quality in language that makes the language seem as if exuding poison. Virulence is outspoken. Malignity may be covered with smooth and courteous phrase. We say intense virulence, deep malignity. Severity is always painful, and may be terrible, but carries ordinarily the implication, true or false, of justice. Compare anger, bitter, enmity. Antonyms: amiability, courtesy, gentleness, good nature, kindness, mildness, smoothness, sweetness. Act. Noun. Synonyms: accomplishment, achievement, action, consummation, deed, doing, effect, execution, exercise, exertion, exploit, feat, motion, movement, operation, performance, proceeding, transaction, work. An act is strictly and originally something accomplished by an exercise of power, in which sense it is synonymous with deed or effect. Action is a doing. Act is therefore single, individual, momentary. Action, a complex of acts, or a process, state, or habit of exerting power. We say a virtuous act, but rather a virtuous course of action. We speak of the action of an acid upon a metal, not of its act. Act is used also for the simple exertion of power, as an act of will. In this sense an act does not necessarily imply an external effect, while an action does. Morally, the act of murder is in the determination to kill. Legally, the act is not complete without the striking of the fatal blow. Act and deed are both used for the thing done, but act refers to the power put forth, deed to the result accomplished, as a voluntary act, a bad deed. In connection with other words, act is more usually qualified by the use of another noun, action, by an adjective preceding. We may say a kind act, though oftener an act of kindness, but only a kind action, not an action of kindness. As between act and deed, deed is commonly used of great, notable, and impressive acts, as are achievement, exploit, and feat. Festus, we live in deeds, not years, in thoughts, not breaths. Bailey. Festus, a country town. SC 7. A feat exhibits strength, skill, personal power, whether mental or physical, especially the latter, as a feat of arms, a feat of memory. An exploit is a conspicuous or glorious deed, involving valor or heroism, usually combined with strength, skill, loftiness of thought, and readiness of resource. An achievement is the doing of something great and noteworthy. An exploit is brilliant, but its effect may be transient. An achievement is solid, and its effect enduring. Act and action are both in contrast to all that is merely passive and receptive. The intensest action is easier than passive endurance. Antonyms: cessation, deliberation, endurance, immobility, inaction, inactivity, inertia, passion, in a philosophic sense, quiescence, quiet, repose, rest, suffering, suspension. Active. Synonyms: agile, alert, brisk, bustling, busy, diligent, energetic, expeditious, industrious, lively, mobile, nimble, officious, prompt, quick, ready, restless, sprightly, spry, supple, vigorous, wide awake. Active refers to both quickness and constancy of action. In the former sense it is allied with agile, alert, brisk, etc. In the latter with busy, diligent, industrious. The active love employment, the busy are actually employed. The diligent and the industrious are habitually busy. The restless are active from inability to keep quiet. Their activity may be without purpose, or out of all proportion to the purpose contemplated. The officious are undesirably active in the affairs of others. Compare alert, alive, meddlesome. Antonyms: dull, heavy, idle, inactive, indolent, inert, lazy, quiescent, quiet, slow, sluggish, stupid. Prepositions: active in work, in a cause, for an object, as for justice, with persons or instrumentalities, about something, as about other people's business. Acumen. Synonyms: acuteness, cleverness, discernment, insight, keenness, penetration, perspicacity, sagacity, sharpness, shrewdness. Sharpness, acuteness, and insight, however keen, and penetration, however deep, fall short of the meaning of acumen, which implies also ability to use these qualities to advantage. There are persons of keen insight and great penetration to whom these powers are practically useless. Acumen is sharpness to some purpose, and belongs to a mind that is comprehensive as well as keen. Cleverness is a practical aptitude for study or learning. Insight and discernment are applied oftenest to the judgment of character. Penetration and perspicacity to other subjects of knowledge. Sagacity is an uncultured skill in using quick perceptions for a desired end, generally in practical affairs. Acumen may increase with study, and applies to the most erudite matters. Shrewdness is keenness or sagacity, often with a somewhat evil bias, as ready to take advantage of duller instincts. Perspicacity is the power to see clearly through that which is difficult or involved. We speak of the acuteness of an observer or a reasoner, the insight and discernment of a student, a clergyman, or a merchant, the sagacity of a hound, the keenness of a debater, the shrewdness of a usurer, the penetration, perspicacity, and acumen of a philosopher. Antonyms: bluntness, dullness, obtuseness, stupidity. Add. Synonyms: adjoin, affix, amplify, annex, append, attach, augment, cast up, enlarge, extend, increase, join on, make up, subjoin, sum up. To add is to increase by adjoining or uniting, in distinction from multiply, which is to increase by repeating. To augment a thing is to increase it by any means, but this word is seldom used directly of material objects. We do not augment a house, a farm, a nation, etc. We may enlarge a house, a farm, or an empire, extend influence or dominion, augment riches, power, or influence, attach or annex a building to one that it adjoins, or papers to the document they refer to. Annex a clause or a codicil, affix a seal or a signature, annex a territory, attach a condition to a promise. A speaker may amplify a discourse by a fuller treatment throughout than was originally planned, or he may append or subjoin certain remarks without change of what has gone before. We cast up or sum up an account, though add up and make up are now more usual expressions. Antonyms: abstract, deduct, diminish, dissever, lessen, reduce, remove, subtract, withdraw. Preposition: other items are to be added to the account. Addicted. Synonyms: abandoned, accustomed, attached, devoted, disposed, given, given over, given up, habituated, inclined, prone, wedded. One is addicted to that which he has allowed to gain a strong, habitual, and enduring hold upon action, inclination, or involuntary tendency, as to a habit or indulgence. A man may be accustomed to labor, attached to his profession, devoted to his religion, given up to study or to gluttony. In the bad sense, given over or given up is a stronger and more hopeless expression, as is abandoned. One inclined to luxury may become habituated to poverty. One is wedded to that which has become a second nature, as one is wedded to science or to art. Prone is used only in a bad sense, and generally of natural tendencies, as our hearts are prone to evil. Abandoned tells of the acquired viciousness of one who has given himself up to wickedness. Addicted may be used in a good, but more frequently a bad sense, as addicted to study, addicted to drink. Devoted is used chiefly in the good sense, as a mother's devoted affection. Antonyms: averse, disinclined, indisposed, unaccustomed. Preposition: addicted to vice. Address, verb. Synonyms: accost, apostrophize, appeal, approach, court, greet, hail, salute, speak to, woo. To accost is to speak first, to friend or stranger, generally with a view to opening conversation. Greet is not so distinctly limited, since one may return another's greeting. Greet and hail may imply but a passing word. Greeting may be altogether silent. To hail is to greet in a loud-voiced and commonly hearty and joyous way, as appears in the expression, "Hail, fellow, well met." To salute is to greet with special token of respect, as a soldier his commander. To apostrophize is to solemnly address some person or personified attribute apart from the audience to whom one is speaking, as a preacher may apostrophize virtue, the saints of old, or even the deity. To appeal is strictly to call for some form of help or support. Address is slightly more formal than accost or greet, though it may often be interchanged with them. One may address another at considerable length or in writing. He accosts orally and briefly. Antonyms: avoid, cut, elude, ignore, overlook, pass, pass by, shun. Prepositions: address the memorial to the legislature. The President addressed the people in an eloquent speech. He addressed an intruder with indignation. Address, noun. Synonyms: adroitness, courtesy, dexterity, discretion, ingenuity, manners, politeness, readiness, tact. Address is that indefinable something which enables a man to gain his object without seeming exertion or contest, and generally with the favor and approval of those with whom he deals. It is a general power to direct to the matter in hand whatever qualities are most needed for it at the moment. It includes adroitness and discretion, to know what to do or say and what to avoid, ingenuity to devise, readiness to speak or act, the dexterity that comes of practice, and tact, which is the power of fine touch as applied to human character and feeling. Courtesy and politeness are indispensable elements of good address. Compare speech. Antonyms: awkwardness, boorishness, clownishness, clumsiness, fatuity, folly, ill-breeding, ill manners, rudeness, stupidity, unmannerliness, unwisdom. Prepositions: address in dealing with opponents, the address of an accomplished intriguer, an address to the audience. End of section 3.